She completed her doctorate in physiotherapy from Northeastern University, USA. She is currently working in Restore Rehab, situated in Houston, Texas, as an exercise physiologist. Now I would like to invite our guest speaker, Dr. Shri Valli Chakri ma'am, to take center stage and enlighten us on today's topic.
Very good morning to everybody. Thank you for such a wonderful introduction, Dr. Uday Nair sir. And I would like to specially thank Dr. Loganathan sir before I start anything, because he was the one who's driving this throughout, that is solely responsible to have this started today. So special thanks to Dr. Loganathan sir, and also heartfelt thanks to all the staff members and HODs that are present here today for giving me this opportunity to address such a big group of students. I was very well introduced by all the staff members, and thank you for that. Along with that, I was also a student like you a few years ago, and that is where I started. So I don't remember my roots. I always remember my roots, so I don't forget my roots. That being said, a little bit about me and the organization that I'm coming from. I run physiotherapy licensing in USA. This is a Facebook group, and I am associated with NPTE Study Buddy. The founder of NPTE Study Buddy is Mr. Ankit Shahi. He has his bachelor's degree from India as well, and he completed his master's and doctorate degree here in the US, and he's the founder of NPTE Study Buddy. We will learn a little bit about NPTE Study Buddy as we go along this webinar today. Coming to myself, like Dr. Uday Nair sir mentioned, my name is Shri Valli Chekuri. I finished my bachelor's degree in VAPMS College of Physiotherapy, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, after which I moved to the States, completed my master's degree in Wichita State University, and my doctorate degree from Northeastern University. I work as a physical therapist in Restore Rehab currently, and I'm also working towards my Canadian license. Just so you all are aware, if you all have questions regarding Canadian physical therapy licensing, I will still be able to help, but I'm not an expert because I don't have my license yet. However, we have a team of experts who I can direct you to. And please reach out to me after this webinar if you have questions regarding Canada. But for US, I will try my best to give you all the basic initial details that you might have questions about. And if you have more questions than what I covered, feel free to, like one of the sir mentioned, to put it in the chat box, and I will try to answer them at the end of the webinar. Also, you can always unmute your mic after the webinar, and we can go over some of your questions for sure. Without ado, let's get started. In what I'm trying to cover today is basic steps to start your career right after your bachelor's or your master's degree from India. Like most professors said, it was my dream back in the day, but I had struggled a lot, having no help, no guidance, and we had to beat the bushes and find it in the dark, because I wasted a lot of time, energy, money, and effort trying to figure out how to be licensed in the US and work as a physical therapist. So it took me a lot of time and money, like I said. So that is the whole intention of starting this program, where I can reach out to as many students as possible and give them a proper direction at least, and tell them how to think and which direction to start their thought process from. So the first question that most of you will have is, when do I start the process? So ideally, I would say a final year student who is in your bachelor's final year or even in your master's final year, it is most ideal to start thinking about it, because there are so many steps along the line which might need some research. Though I give you a little bit of information, every personal situation is different. Every person's needs are different. So I would say if you have a good 1 year of time frame to think about it, it is the most ideal time to start. And if you're in your internship already, don't think you're too late. You can start now, but make sure you start immediately. That way you still have some time to think and process and take the best decision in coming to your master's, where to come, how to come, and where to start, what to start. So that way you don't have delays or gaps in your career. And right after your internship, you will be able to still go abroad and do what you're supposed to do. Now, where do I start? After you started planning, the first thing you have to think about is your documents. First, make a list of all the academic documents you need. Then prepare for your evaluation. We will talk in detail about your evaluation as we go through this webinar, and you will get an idea of what evaluation means. This evaluation is needed by every student that is coming from India. It has to be equivalent to US education. That is when you will be eligible to give your licensing exam in the first place. So we will go in more detail in the next steps. After you applied for your evaluation, you have to start your visa process. Are you hearing me, guys?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
Sorry, I think the connection is lost. I'm just trying to retrieve that. Sorry about the interruption. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay.
So I don't know if you were able to see this screen of mine. So the third step is a visa processing work after you have your evaluation in place. So let's go in detail with each step. In the first step, when I talked about academic documents, you have to compile your transcripts together. I know you won't get your transcripts till you finish your bachelor's degree, but then the first thing you have to know is what all documents you need to apply from your college or university, and try to apply it as soon as your internship is done. And after that is done, the first thing you have to check is spellings, because I have seen a lot of students who miss like a small letter in their transcript, like A, E, or E for A, things like that. And those mistakes, if they carry forward to the evaluation center, things will become complicated. So I recommend students to make sure your name is spelled correctly, your date of birth is correct, and all those basic details, including your parents' name, if anything is mentioned, is correctly spelled everywhere in your documents before you send it over. So once you have all the documents ready from your school, make sure that those documents, along with taking one copy for yourself, another copy should be sealed and sent to the FCCPT or whatever evaluation you're doing to that institution directly. They do not accept any documents that go from you. It has to go from the school or university with a sealed envelope, signed and dated. So if any of this is missing, any mishandling, if they think that you did it instead of them, that will delay the process. So please make sure that the documents are sent from the university directly. Now, I was talking to you about evaluation. One of the evaluating agency is FCCPT. There are other agencies too called ICD, CGFNS, and IERF. These are the few agencies you can get your documents evaluated from to start your evaluation process. But I highly recommend students to start FCCPT over other organizations because it is widely accepted across the different states, and it is better option for beginners, as you as students, you don't know which state you want to go to yet, right? And you also don't know where you will end up working. It depends on where you'll get an opportunity, and various other factors might change as you come and move to different places. Like, for example, I had to move 3 different places and I had to change evaluations. Because FCCPT is accepted everywhere, the biggest 2 advantages you will have is once you send all your school documents to FCCPT, they will keep it forever. You don't have to resend it every time you change the state or every time you change the evaluation. That is one big advantage. And the second thing is it is accepted in all the states and it has all the evaluations that are possibly there. But however, other agencies, they might not be accepted in every state and they might not have all the evaluations that are needed. So let's say if you do it from ICD and then you end up changing the state or changing the evaluation for whatever needs you come across, you might not be able to have that there. And if you have to change it to FCCPT at that point, you would have to start from square zero. You would have to get all the documents again from your university, which is painful because you'll be here and you know how it is. You have to physically go to the university, otherwise it will get hard. So FCCPT is highly recommended in that regards. Next point is state selection. So you have to select the state you want to be licensed in because different states have different requirements. And then this coursework tool, they use some tools to do your evaluations. So the coursework tools change based on what state you apply your license for. Again, people might ask me, okay, now I selected Texas, and let's say I want to move to Florida after my evaluation is done. Yes, you are most welcome to move, and then you can just apply for a transfer. And if it is the same tool, they will just send the duplicate report. But if it is something different, they will intimate you. And then, of course, it comes with some fees, and you can always do that. But initially, a state selection is important to get your evaluation done. Again, when I talked about state requirements, every state has minor differences in requirements. Like most of the states require TOEFL, but there are some states, like for example, New York or Connecticut, they don't require TOEFL at all. So if you're applying for those states, FCCPT will not ask you for TOEFL scores. But for example, if you're applying for Texas or Ohio, they require TOEFL scores. And unless you have the required TOEFL score, they will not start your evaluation. So that is where things will change and it will get tricky. So it's better to at least assume some state you want to apply for so they know where they are going and what they are doing. Also, along with the TOEFL, the next important requirement is jurisprudence exam. This is called the law exam. So here in the states, how it works is we as clinicians need to know the laws of the states. Because when we prescribe plans, when we talk to the patients, they expect us to know the laws. We have to abide by the law. Scope of practice is a very big thing here in the states. So we need to make sure we are within the scope of our practice and don't go out of it. And we need to know all the rules to practice in the states. So that's why, and every state has small differences in their laws. So if you are practicing in Texas, you need to pass the jurisprudence exam of Texas. In the same way, if you are practicing in a different state, you have to pass that state's law exam. It is not a big deal. It is easy, but you have to pass that exam. So coming to coursework tools are nothing but they have two coursework tools, 5 and 6. It depends on the year of graduation. Your coursework tool, if you are graduating from your bachelor's around this time, like 2021, 22, around those times, it will be CWT 6. Once your evaluation is complete, the next step is visa options. There are a couple of visa options that you can explore to come to the States. I will talk about in the order of usage. Like the most common one that students use to come to the States is F1. This is nothing but a student visa. You will come here on F1 visa for your master's degree. Once you get an admission in the university, you would have to first apply. Once you get admission, then you will have to go for visa, and that visa approval is called an F1 visa. So if you are allowed an F1 visa, you can come to the States, you can start studying. You should be a full-time student, a master's full-time student, not any diploma programs. And while you're the student, you would be allowed to work on campus, and you would be allowed to work 20 hours on campus. There are a few more things that I would talk about that visa in a little bit. But the next common visa is H4 visa. This is nothing but called the spousal visa. If your partner is already in the States and they are working full-time on H1B visa, you're allowed to get H4. On H4 alone, you won't be allowed to work, but you can still take the NPTE exam. However, if you have H4 EAD, which comes through after your partner starts his or her green card processing, so then you will be allowed to work on H4 EAD as well. The next one is B2 visa. This is nothing but the regular visitor visa. This has been come into more popularity lately due to COVID and all that situations where master's programs intake has decreased tremendously and people don't want to come outside the country because what is going on around the world. So B2 is nothing but you come here to the States on visitor visa. You're not allowed to work, but however, you're allowed to take the NPTE exam. Once you pass the exam, you would have to still go back to your country and apply for a work permit from there if you have to continue to work as a physical therapist if you passed your exam on a B2 visa. However, the amount of time you're living on B2 visa is very limited. The maximum time is only 6 months for one visit. So there are two kinds of people. People usually either come here if they have some relatives or family here. They will stay there and study, give the exam and go back within 6 months. Or they will prepare in India and they will just travel right before the exam, give the exam and go back home within less than a month. The last one is a green card or citizenship. This is very rare unless you have grown up here and you just went to India for your bachelor's degree or very recently in the last few years. If your parents have green cards or citizenships, you might be having it. If you have it, you're welcome to come any day and you can work anywhere and you can also give NPTE exam. So I didn't talk to you about OPT or CPT. This is an extension of the F1 visa. I was just mentioning to you about having eligibility to work on F1 for 20 hours. That is nothing but any student who is on OPT is allowed to work for 20 hours on campus. Other than that, these are two other options that we have as students. One is the OPT program and the one is the CPT program. CPT program, you usually get it when you are in your master's. So this is one reason why I told you that you need to start researching about 1 year before you start the process or before you want to come here physically, because not all the universities will allow a curricular practical training program. It is nothing but you can find a job outside the campus. Like for example, I worked in a clinic outside of my university, and you should be able to prove to your university that you are working at a place which will enhance your clinical skills or which will help you grow professionally. So it has to match to the master's degree you're doing. That is when they will give you approval. So not all master's degree programs have CPT programs. So it is wise to choose a university or a program that do offer CPT programs. That way you're eligible to work and you can earn better. Also, you will be a better clinician because you'll have some sort of experience outside the university while you're in your master's itself. So that's a good option to check. Most master's universities give CPT only after 1 year of your master's. So that is one more thing you can check. And on CPT, there will be a full-time CPT option where you can work for full 40 hours. Usually students use it during summer where they don't have to take any classes. They will work full-time. And the programs are designed in such a way that everybody knows there are international students and they give you jobs like that matches to your work and your school schedule. So it's a very common practice to do masters as well as being able to work. So the next program I was talking to you is about OPT. OPT is nothing but optional practical training. This is a bridge between being a student, which is F1 visa, and being a full-time worker, which is a H1B. So between F1 and H1, you need a bridge. That bridge is the OPT. During OPT, you will be allowed to search for a job. You can be unemployed for about 90 days. So that will give you choice to find a proper job and land a proper job for yourself and move to the full-time worker status. So this OPT is very helpful. Some universities will give you only 1 year OPT and some universities will give you 3 year OPTs. This is another place where you have to research to see whatever universities you're selecting, is it giving you 1 year or is it giving you 3 years? Now, what is the difference? The difference is H1B is a lottery system and you will be allowed to put it in that lottery only once a year, like every April. If your lottery is picked up, then you can transfer on H1B, but if not, then you would have to try the next year. So OPT is a lifesaver there if you have 3 years of OPT. So if you do a master's program that comes under the STEM program, then you will get a 3-year OPT. If you do a master's program that does not come under STEM program, then you'll get only 1-year OPT. So these are the small, minute things that you have to be really careful while you're choosing your master's program. So you won't be panicking after you come here, because that will give you more opportunity to search for jobs and give you more probability of getting your lottery picked up, because you'll have 3 full years of OPT after your master's. Now, I would like to put together some universities that offer 3-year OPT to make it easier for you. Of course, these are not the only universities. There are a lot many. I just gathered some universities based on, where I had friends in the past who successfully graduated from these universities, and things were looking good from these universities. So the most common universities are Long Island University, New York, Dallas Baptist University, Texas, California Baptist University, California, Kent State University, Ohio, Mississippi College, Mississippi, and Wichita State University, Kansas. Now, how to support financially during your master's? This is another big question that I know most students as well as parents have, because there is a myth that master's in US is very expensive and you can't do your master's unless you have a lot of money in Indian banks. That's the myth. Let me tell you, it is surprising, but if you work it out properly, if you are able to research properly, your master's degree here in the States could be cheaper, and even a lot cheaper than your master's degree in India, because in India, we don't have a lot of scholarship programs. Here, there are so many scholarship programs. There are so many jobs available where you can fund yourself. It might look expensive as soon as you see it on the screen. And of course, it is expensive if you don't get any funding, if you don't work at all, and if you don't get any scholarships. There are students who did that. So that's why you need time. And you need to have some effort to understand what programs they offer and what you can do. So first thing is scholarships. Scholarships is nothing but like you all must have known in India, where they give for exceptional abilities for different things, right? So most scholarships are available for only US citizens, but there are some scholarships that are available for internationals. So the first thing you have to start looking into is, if you're thinking about a university and a program, see what scholarships are applicable or available for that particular program and that particular university. If you're not able to find, you can always email advisors in the university. International students look up for Facebook groups and find what scholarships are there. It is ideal to apply the scholarship along with your admission. That way you will get approval for both at the same time, and you will know how much the scholarship is given to you or if it is not given to you. If you miss on the scholarships, the next thing you have to target is GRA or GTA positions on campus. So these are 2 popular positions that offer funding for on-campus students. This is something that I had a funny incident when I came as a student. My advisor offered me a GTA position as soon as I came, and then I don't know what it is. So I was like, okay, do I take it or I don't take it? Because I don't know what it is, and I don't know it is funded. I don't know it is paid. So I was like double thinking, and then I had to talk to someone, and I understood this is like, miracle to get the day after we come. So these are the positions you have to try for. If you miss on scholarships, they will be funded partially, fully, or at least they'll pay you the salary for 20 hours on campus. So the funding or the budget, funding is based on the budget you have for that particular program. So it really depends on what advisor you have and where you're working as a GTA or GRA. If that particular professor has some good budget, they will pay you your fees, like either partially or fully, or sometimes they'll pay you a salary. So if you miss on GRA, GTA, the next thing to target is some students that can work on campus. Like I said, any job on campus for 20 hours. This will not help you with the tuition, but then it will definitely be sufficient for your living in the United States. So there are numerous jobs, and most of the students will land in some or the other job. And I've not heard of anybody who had to bring money from India for their living, because after you come here in a few months, you'll definitely land in some kind of job if you put the correct efforts. That being said, your evaluation is done and you have a visa to fly to the States. What is the next step? The next step is registering for NPTE exam after you get equivalency. Now, what is equivalency? Like I talked earlier, FCCPT evaluation, you will send it over, and in a few weeks, they will tell you that you're either equivalent or not equivalent. If your education is not equivalent, They will give you what all deficiencies you need to complete. You will complete that from some community colleges here. And after you complete it, you will apply for reevaluation. And after the reevaluation, you will get your equivalency to sit for the NPTE. Once you get equivalency for NPTE, you will register for the exam. Registration is done on a different website. It is called FSBPT website. Now, the next thing you do is to prepare for the NPTE. So you have to explore options to prepare for NPTE. First thing you need to understand is the books. These are most common books that we need to prepare for NPTE. I know you're familiar with most of them. Sullivan is for neurology. Dutton is for musculoskeletal system. Hilges for cardiopulmonary. Goodman for gastrointestinal and genitourinary system. McGee for musculoskeletal again. Kisner for MSK also. So these are the most common textbooks you need to know. And after this, the two books that I mentioned at the bottom, Therapy Aid and Score Builders, these are like question banks. They are helpful only to review. They are not necessary to read. You just need them for practicing exams. Each book has 3 practice exams. So you'll get a total of 6 exams. Don't practice them yet just because I told you. You have to use them right when you're thoroughly preparing to give the exam in the next few months. At this point, I will give you more options to test what questions look like and how they will be in a little bit. So there are so many programs available for preparing for your NPTE journey. I have tried it all. I have tried all the available programs. I have paid money everywhere. I wasted time and money in every program. And I settled here finally. This is called the NPTE Study Buddy program. It is started a few years ago now. And Ankit Shahi, like I mentioned earlier, is the founder of this program. And he, under his guidance, I think more than a few thousands have passed their US NPTE exam. More than a few thousands have passed Canadian PCE exam. And they're also having classes for Australian and Dubai exams. That is a little smaller. They just started those classes, but these two are very big with Study Buddy. So now you can ask me, why do you choose NPTE Study Buddy? What is unique about them? Let's know a little bit about them. So they have highly experienced and passionate team of licensed physical therapists. All their teachers are licensed in the US. The range of classes include MSK Neuro, Cardiopulmonary, other systems, non-systems based on the FSBPT blueprint. Now, what is FSBPT blueprint? It's like the syllabus book, like how we have syllabus in your bachelor's program. The same way FSBPT is the syllabus that is printed. They will tell that this is the syllabus from where you will get your exam from. So they follow that. That syllabus will be changed every few years, and NPTE does follow the current one and do their classes every time they are updated. Now, mentorship program. You heard sir telling that I'm a Study Buddy mentor. I am one of them here. So mentorship program is nothing but offering some extra attention to the students who need assistance with solving more questions, scheduling and clearing doubts. Now, like I said, Study Buddy has hundreds of students every batch. So what we do is students can pick and choose some mentors, and they can associate into a small group. Like I have 10 students, usually 10 to 15, less than 15. And we do questions together, we do classes together, and they will talk to us and they will explain things to us. When they talk to us, tell things to us, then we will try to correct them based on where they are going wrong. It's basically a one-on-one session kind of thing with a small group. That way we will give them attention properly and help them pass the exam. Then they have member access to the website for 1 full year. So exam is conducted every 3 months. So the cohort is repeated every 3 months. So it is repeated almost 4 times before you lose access, and they have recorded classes. And you can listen to them any number of times. They have over 70 plus live sessions and over 6 test taking strategy classes. Now, these test taking strategy classes are very, very important because these classes are helpful to help you solve the questions. We are so used to just a regular question answer format in our bachelor's and master's in India. Here you have about 250 multiple choice questions. That is when students face the biggest challenge. So it is important to follow those strategies in answering those questions. You will get free access to full exam that resembles NPTE standards. You will get free access to flashcards and daily questions on social media platforms like FB private groups and Instagram pages. You will be able to download their mobile app, which is free and provides daily questions. So like I said, that mobile app is very, very important. It is free. You can download now in your phones and you can start looking at things they offer. And more than that, you will have a daily topic every day and daily question every day. This is where you can practice and test yourself to see where you're standing and how prepared you will be and how much help you might need in the future. So these are some of the reasons why a study buddy student should enroll in study buddy for their journey to NPTE. Make yours one such successful story to share as a part of study buddy family out of the numerous testimonials they have from students. Now let's go to the frequently asked questions. The first question that I come across a lot is, do you need a doctorate degree to apply for credential evaluation? No, you absolutely do not. You can apply with your bachelor's degree in physical therapy or physiotherapy. Do you have to be physically present in the US to start your evaluation? No, you don't have to be present in the US. You can start from anywhere in the world. It is fully online. You don't even need a physical address in the US. Like I started my evaluation when I was in India itself. So next question, if you're licensed in one state in the USA, can you practice in all other states? No, you cannot. However, you do not have to give the exam again to practice in other states. You're allowed to transfer your license by endorsement to start practicing in another state. Like I was telling you, you can pass through Texas. And if you want to change to Michigan or Florida, you just have to follow that state's rules for the coursework tool. If they have any TOEFL requirements, or if you have to pass any law exam, or if you have to do any fingerprinting, these kind of small things will be there. And it won't take too long to transfer your license. The biggest part is to pass the license. Next, how many attempts can you take and what is the passing score? You're allowed to take 6 total attempts and the passing score is 600 for 800. This is called the scaled score. You will be scored for 200 questions. You will be getting 250 questions in the exam. 50 questions will be voided randomly. Nobody knows which questions and what. And out of the 200 scored questions, you should get about 133, 134 plus or minus 1 or 2 points to get a scaled score of 600. What if I cannot pass in 6 attempts? You can get an additional attempt by adding additional paperwork. Now, this is up to the state. I wouldn't say that you have to wait till so many attempts and put an appeal attempt, but if for any case that this happens, and yes, you can get an appeal attempt, but it totally depends on the state. If the state approves your appeal attempt, you have to complete your license and pass it within the 1 year of their approval. So a lot more anxiety. So let's not wait till there. What is the score relative based on performance of other students? Actually, it is not based on other students' performance. It is not relative. So you don't have to worry about performance of others. As long as you get 600 for 800 as a scaled score, then you pass the exam. Can we take the exam anytime during the year? Like I said, no, you cannot. NPTE is usually conducted only 4 times a year: January, April, July, and October. These are the times you have to choose and take the exam. Thank you everyone for being patient. Thanks to all the students for listening to me throughout. And this is my email address and my contact number. Feel free to contact me. I am also running a WhatsApp group for students to continue to help as you go in the process, because I know you'll get a lot more questions once you start the process. You can always send me a text if you want to be added in the group, and I will put you in that group. That way you will get regular updates about it, or you can email me if that is something that is comfortable for you. And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you all the staff of Nandha College of Physiotherapy, and thanks to all the students. I will wait for any questions from the students and we can go from there. Sindhu, do you have a question? You can unmute yourself and ask a question if you have a question. Sindhu? Sir, any questions from you guys or students that will be helpful if I need to answer? How much do we have to pay for NPT exam? I think it is about $495 US dollars for the exam itself.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hi, sir. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am, regarding Study Buddy, ma'am. I researched NPTE Study Buddy. I researched it, and there was an app, ma'am, for Study Buddy,
Yes.
which had MCQs in it.
Yes.
But it is not available in Android, ma'am. According to the website, it is not available on Android.
Okay.
So, ma'am, is there any other related app that I can use for the same purpose?
Sure, sir. I will check with the team. I will see why it is not available for Android, and we'll see if we can make it available. That is one big source and comfortable source because it's in the phone. I'll talk to them once and I'll keep you posted. And the second thing is you can join the Facebook groups. They'll have MCQ questions every day as well. So that is another alternative before you get the app.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Sure.
How to approach FCCP?
Sorry, what was that?
How to approach the FCCP, ma'am?
FCCPT? You will have a website. You just have to go there and apply to that website. I can just try and show it to you on the screen how the website looks. You just have to open your file on that website, and once you open it, they will give you a unique file number. From there, it's very self-explanatory. That's what I tell you when you need help. You can contact me during the process. If you need help during the FCCPT process, please feel free to contact me and I will be able to help you out. And this is how the FCCPT website looks. So for new applicants, you'll just go here and click on apply now. And you'll have to choose, you will choose for licensure because at this point, that's what you want to start with. And then, like I said, you'll have to choose a state and then whatever application you want. Based on the application you want, you can continue from there. So if you see, when I put Texas, you'll see educational credential review because Texas takes that evaluation. And if I change it to California, you will see type 1 for licensure because California needs type 1 for licensure. So that's how things will change based on the state you choose. So, yep, that's how it is. Any other questions?
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
No problem, Satyanarayan.
Thank you, ma'am. I invite Jani RP from final year BPT to receive the vote of thanks.
Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance, even if the good times do not last long. I would like to express my gratitude to the resource person of today's webinar, Dr. Sri Valli Chekuri, for opening our eyes to job opportunities abroad. I would like to thank the principal, Dr. V. Manivandan sir, for providing this opportunity. I would like to thank Dr. Loganathan PT and Dr. Gopalakrishnan PT for arranging the informative webinar. I would like to thank all the HODs and staff members for giving this opportunity. Last but not least, I thank all the UG, PG, interns and alumni students for your participation till the very end. Thank you.
Thank you, Janani. Feedback will be sent in the chat box. I request everyone to fill it up to receive your e-certificate. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your cooperation. And like I said, I will be here in the WhatsApp. If you all need to contact me, or in the Facebook group, you can always contact me and I'll be in touch. Good luck for your future, and stay in touch.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll end up the session now.
No problem, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.